Hey guys, it is Kevin Kauffman, and we are back, or I should say, I am back with this week's industry headlines. Thank you so much for joining us, whether you're watching here live inside the Next Level Agents Facebook group or listening on the podcast feed through the Kevin and Fred show. So, hey, if you noticed, I'm running solo this week. You're in for a treat. That means no Fred, means this episode will be half the time it normally is. Maybe even only 25% of the time it normally takes. Anyways, all right, on to this week's headlines. First, we're going to talk about is rate lock data suggesting huge numbers in mortgage origination volume. No kidding, for 2020. We're going to talk about mortgage forbearance updates across all loan types and CoreLogic, a joke. This is actually a funny story I'm going to share with you. I'm actually going to read it verbatim, word for word, as it wasn't written by me. And it's just quite funny. So, all right, let's get to this week's headlines. First of all, rate lock data for 2020 suggests 4 trillion, that's trillion with the T, in origination volume this year. So we got some new rate lock data from Black Knight's Mortgage Monitor report that shows the rate lock activity in the first half of October was up 4% over September. First of all, that's pretty big because it's not like it was low in September, with purchase locks up 6% and refinance locks up another 3%. Now, I know my friend Todd Bookspan is listening, and he's probably thinking I screwed up this mortgage data somehow. So Todd, please come in the comments and correct me. Let me know. Come inside the Facebook group, comments on this video. Let me know where I got it wrong. But Black Knight is reporting that the locks for October were up over 4% from September when it comes to purchase locks, and then another 6%. Wow, hold on. First half of October up 4% from September, with purchase locks up 6% and the refinance locks up 3%. So anyways, that's a lot of mortgages, guys. I mean, that is a ton of origination of new mortgages. So speaking of mortgages, let's talk about the forbearance, because those numbers are falling still across all loan types. And this is the question. This is the thing that we've talked about, is with all of these forbearances, as they start to expire here this later part of the year and early into 2021, what's going to happen? That I feel like there's so many people that are like waiting for a shoe to drop. And the reality is it may or may not. We'll see what happens. But here's what we do know: the U.S. forbearance rate, measuring the share of mortgages with suspended payments, fell 7 basis points down to 5.83% last week. This is according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. So, with more borrowers exiting forbearance in the prior week, the share of loans in forbearance declined across all loan types. That is good news for the economy. That is good news for the folks who have these mortgages. It's an indication that more folks are able to hopefully get back, sustain themselves, not need the help of a forbearance to keep going. Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen for sure in the near future, but man, that would be nice if this is a sign of things to come, which I hope it is. And lastly, I'm going to finish with this. This is a joke. Fred wants you all to know this is his headline. CoreLogic, a joke. This was written by a local Phoenix expert when it comes to statistics. His name is Michael Orr. Michael Orr provides something called the Cronford Report. And if you're an agent in the Phoenix area and you do not subscribe to the Cronford Report, shame on you. It is absolutely the best content, the best statistical content that we have available to us, and it's at a very low cost, if you ask me. So at any rate, let's talk about this. So like King Canute, I don't even know how to pronounce it, ineffectively commanding any like experts here, please let me know who the hell this is, commanding the ocean tide to recede. CoreLogic continues to command home prices to stop rising with similar effect. Last month, CoreLogic forecasted that month-over-month prices for September would increase by, drum roll please, 0.1% over August. Today, the report that they actually increased was 1.1%. So it's 11 times greater than their forecast. Guys, that's, if your job is to forecast and you're missing by 11 times, that's bad. So here's the deal. This is why Mike really digs into them, because 1 month is not difficult to forecast, especially when they're forecasting a month that's actually already ended. However, they still manage to get it wildly wrong again and again, goes on Mike Orr. They are forecasting a month over month increase for October of, wait for it, 0.2%. In Greater Phoenix, we've already measured 4.8% for October. We meaning the Cromford report that Mike Orr runs. So Mike says, I'm going to go out on a limb here and predict that their forecast for October will be extremely low again. Their longer term forecast is for US home prices to rise between 0.2% for September 2020 to September 2021. This is likely to prove even more incorrect than their short term forecast. Mike says, I do admit that long term forecasting is a fool's game in which the Cromford report does not participate. We make no price forecast at all for September 2021, but we do know a silly forecast when we see one. I got to agree. I'm not a forecaster. I don't like to pretend I know what's going to happen in the future. I realize it's what some people do. Uh, CoreLogic, maybe you might want to like tighten those numbers up if you're going to continue to forecast. So, all right, that's this week's industry headlines. Thank you for listening, whether it's here in the Next Level Agents Facebook group or on our podcast feed, The Kevin and Fred Show. We appreciate it. I'll see you next time.